Om. The sixth sutra deals with Asmita, the second of the klesha of the five. And the sutra is Drig Darshana Shaktyor Ekatmateva Smita. Drig Darshana Shaktyor Ekatmateva Smita. Drig Darshana Shaktyor Ekatma Ta Iva Asmita. Drig is seer. That is the pure Purusha, the real me, my real nature. When I am not identified with anything at all, what I am, what I will be, and what it is, that is Drik, the seer, the Purusha. Darshana is seen, an object, just for understanding. If I see a car, I am the seer, Drik, and I am seeing the car, Darshana. Shaktyoho, that is power. Power of the seer, power of the seeing. Ekatmata, one, becoming one. So that Drik Shakti, Darshana Shakti becomes one. And that is Asmita. Drik Darshana Shaktyor Ekatmateva Smita. Asmita is identity or blending together of the power of consciousness, the Purusha, the seer, Drik, with the power of cognition, the Darshana. And that is the Asmita. Of course, the word Asmi is a very positive word, which means a pure awareness of self-existent consciousness. The Purusha as referred in our tradition, and it is the Bhava as it is called, and that is Asmi. When that pure consciousness gets involved, gets identified, gets merged with what is seen, with what is presented in the front. We had sufficient sutras in our first chapter, and that is called as Asmita. So there are two processes. One is loss of awareness of its real nature, and identification with the vehicles are simultaneous. Both are happening together. The moment consciousness identifies itself with its vehicles, maybe it's a body, or the mind, or the intellect, it has fallen from its pure state, and it becomes bound by the limitations of the avidya. Or we may say that the moment a veil of avidya fails or falls on consciousness, its identification with its vehicles results immediately. This is how avidya was the seed or field of Asmita. Why that identification? Because of avidya. When we say I talk, I walk, I see, I smile, I laugh, I sleep, we are identifying with, not with the real I. We are identifying that which is talking, that which is smiling, that which is sleeping. With that we identified it. I am angry means I am identifying with anger. I am loving. We identified with love, loving. So this identification and completely becoming one with that is asmita. Ekatmata has come. You see, when one person's scooter or one person's car touches other person's scooter and car, initially their arguments will be my scooter, my car. But later on, as it intensifies, it becomes you, me, my and mine. They forget the car and the scooter, or they identify themselves with the scooter and the car. Why did you touch me? They say. Actually, his scooter touches his car. But he says, why did you touch? That is asmita. That identification, ekatmata. A doctor who knows everything about the body, who knows all the details of the body, inside, outside. But still, he is not different from any layman in this particular field, because he also has identified himself with his own body. So that pure I, identified with the body and the mind, then identifying with outside body and the mind, with the real objects, which can be material, which can be living beings. My cat, my dog, my pet. So if somebody hurts the dog, don't hurt me, because I get identified with the dog. This is asmita. Body as a vehicle. Only, but not to be identified as I am the body. Of course, very difficult, but it has to be practiced. It is to be treated as a vehicle, a tool. But that's everything is that. That should be removed. And that is the importance of this particular sutra. That identification which is happening. And if the question is why it is happening, avidya is the answer given in the previous sutra. So the seeing potentiality, that is the seer principle or the drashta, is separate from what is seen, the drishya. But in all of us as a common man, this distinction is always forgotten. And thus leads to wrong superimposition of the one of these over the other. The very common examples which we just saw earlier are that every common man has his own self being the body, and every case in practical life, the self is thus wrongly superimposed upon something out of what is seen. This wrong superimposition and identification leads to all the troubles in our life. In this way, the klesha of asmita is a cause of trouble and misery. In a way, this asmita is what is usually understood by normally as ego or ahankara. Swami Vivekananda beautifully summarizes, writing the commentary on this particular sutra. He says that the chitta or mind stuff, the buddhi, determinative faculty, the manas, the mind, and the indriyas are sense organs. These are the instruments for him to see the external world. And identification of the self with the instruments is what is called the ignorance of egoism. My legs, my hands, my mind, my buddhi, my intellect, my emotions. This is all ignorance. We say, I am the mind, I am the thought, I am angry, or I am happy. How can we be angry? And how can we hate? We should identify ourselves with the self that cannot change. And if it is unchangeable, how can it be one moment happy and one moment unhappy? It is formless, infinite. What can affect it? Nothing in the universe can produce an effect on it. Yet, through avidya, we identify ourselves with all this, with the mind stuff, and think we feel pleasure or pain. And this is a beautiful summing up by Swami Vivekananda on this particular sutra about the asmita. The next sutras are also continuation of kleshas. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.